What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to Blazers Uprise Live here on a Thursday night. We got less than a week, Eric, until the basketball really counts. We've had preseason action to pay attention to, and now the games matter. For better or worse, for tanking purposes or playoff purposes, who knows? We're going to discuss what the final iteration of the roster might look like. We're also going to discuss who the starting small forward will be, because there is now a new name that's been thrown into the mix that some Blazer fans want to see start at the 3. And I think it would be an interesting conversation to discuss Toumani Camara is possibly the starting small forward for the Portland Trail Blazers next season. And we'll also take your questions. Should be a little bit of a shorter stream than normal. We got 2 different podcasts dropping tomorrow. 503 for the fans. They finally got their first episode recorded. So we got that dropping tomorrow. And then we got podcast with me and Steven Vaughn dropping as well. So we got you covered on the content. Eric, how's it going?
Oh, pretty good. Congrats to 503 and Chase to finally getting one of those recorded. They've had a lot of issues, but it'll be fun to see their first show.
Dude, they've gone through computer issues to a storm flooding Chase's street and his power going out to Chase having COVID. They've just been all around the block with all sorts of tribulations. Trials. Tribulations is good. Trials, they've been through a lot of trials so far trying to get that thing recorded. So shout out to them. Looking forward to their first episode and looking forward to getting the season off and running. You guys at Hoops Crush, you and Brady, a.k.a. Crushables, the legend himself, you guys dropped NBA predictions yesterday. So if you guys want to know NBA predictions from Eric and Crushables, go check that out. We will have our annual NBA predictions live stream for Blazers Uprise Live on Monday. That's on Monday. And then next week, we're not doing Thursday, we're doing Wednesday, 3:30, opening night preview, picks against the spread, bunch of games to pick from, lots of fun stuff for you on Wednesday on opening day, so stay tuned for that. And that's the content we got coming up. But for tonight, Eric.
Real quick, sorry. Can I just say something real quick?
Yeah.
I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who's reached out to me over the last few days, including yourself, Tori. And this community's been really awesome, and I just appreciate everyone for their support and stuff like that. So thank you, everyone.
Yep, shout out to our community. Our community is great. Love seeing that. So thank you to everyone who reached out to Eric. And let's hit the ground running with this, man. I'm ready to discuss what you wanted to talk about. Because before the stream, as I normally do, I'm like, Eric, what in the world are we going to talk about today? You know, we have this little layoff between the end of the preseason and the start of the regular season, and you said we could look at like what the end of the roster will look at, like cuts and that sort of thing. I'm like, yeah, we should probably talk about that, but that isn't super clickbaity or clickable. And then you brought up Toumani Kamara. People have been talking about how they might want him to start at the 3. I'm like, oh, that's perfect. Good job.
Well, you know why I thought of that topic, Tori?
Why is that?
Because he ran with the ones today in practice.
Yeah, I saw somebody say that.
So I don't know if it was just like the end of practice that we saw, but he was with the starters for the scrimmage that they showed.
Is it too bold of a statement to say he's our most well-rounded defender?
Like,
it's not saying much, but
I think that's still Robert Williams if he's healthy, just because he's proven it. But I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking about that, towards the end of the season.
Yeah, I know Robert Williams can switch out and guard guards and that sort of thing. He's just elite around the rim. In terms of a guy that can kind of just do it all at a solid level, I mean, that might be Toumani. Maybe I'm getting a little too ahead of myself with a rookie who was drafted 52nd overall, but I mean, he's looked good, and he's had some impressive offensive moments in preseason, but defensively, there was a whole Twitter thread, and watching back some of the film, especially from that, I think it was the Jazz game, I was more impressed with his defense, because a lot of it was just you didn't really notice in the flow of things, but just how quickly he recognized when he needed to help, how quickly he helped, just some of the little fundamental stuff that you really have to try and pay attention to was really impressive. So that's super interesting that he ran with the ones.
Yeah, and if you play it out, and let's just say he did start, And then you talk about, I'm assuming it'll be Sharp then that comes off the bench. Um, so if you have Sharp, Thibault, I'm missing someone. Robert Williams, Brogdon, yeah. So Brogdon, Sharp, Thibault, Robert Williams, and then one of Ant or Scoot in the game at all times off the bench. That's a pretty interesting bench as well. Definitely a better bench than we've had in a while.
That's what's so interesting about this year is because that bench, I think, can do some damage. But how good is the starting lineup going to be? You know, in the past, it's like, oh, Dame will just carry the starters, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who we start next to him, Dame will carry him. It's just a completely different roster build than we're used to. And especially with Kamara starting, that makes the bench even better in a way. And honestly, in terms of like fit, I can't say that he's not a solid fit in the starting lineup given what I've seen. Now he has to continue to play at this level. Who knows if it's just him overachieving during the preseason and summer league, because that could always be the case, but you have to assume he's shown enough in practice as well if he's running with the ones in practice. So that's extremely interesting to me. And he gives them more size at the small forward spot than they've had in a long time. He has an 8'11" standing reach, Eric. He's 6'7" without shoes. He has over a 7-foot wingspan. Like, maybe Chauncey's finally like, screw it, we need some freaking size at the 3, and they're going with Kamara over Thibault and over Sharp, which I've said I wanted Sharp to start, but I'd be more okay going with Kamara than Thibault because Kamara is young, is a rookie, like, maybe he can take that job and run with it, and you got a diamond, you know, you found a needle in a haystack, you got a diamond, you got a gem, whatever the saying is, with Kamara thrown into that 8 trade, because if you can get a guy that can start, even if he's just the 5th starter offensively, but like just a solid role player that won't hurt you as a starter, as a rookie, like that's really, really good value. Mm-hmm. That's a really, really good pickup. So I like the idea of giving him a chance to start and seeing if he can run with that opportunity, and then if he doesn't, you can always then pivot to a Shaedon Sharp. With Matisse Thybulle starting at 3, it just feels like, oh, this is gonna be our lineup, you know? It doesn't feel like something where you're just seeing how it looks. Like, you know what Matisse Thybulle will provide you, right? The only question mark is, will he continue shooting 38% from 3 that he did last year? Will he regress back to what he was before in Philadelphia as a 3-point shooter? So that's why I'm more okay with Kamara being the starting 3 than somebody like a Matisse Thybulle.
Yeah, I agree. I still want Sharp to get as many minutes as possible. So even if he is coming off the bench, I just don't want this to be at the detriment of him, you know, playing only 15, 20 minutes a game or whatever. Like, I think that would be the wrong way to approach it. But why can't Toumani be like a Batum level player right off the bat? Like, I don't think it's that far out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah. You know, we've done it in the past with, like, I know a Vonleh, right? That didn't really pan out. But we've seen these kind of, some people would call him a token starter, but, you know, it's not like you have to play him more than 15 minutes a game, and that's probably what he should be getting, given what he showed you during Summer League, preseason, and apparently in training camp. So, you know, 15 minutes a game, if Sharp can still get his minutes, it does make me question, like, how are they going to find enough minutes at point guard, shooting guard, and small forward for Thibault, Sharp, Scoot, and in Brogdon, if you're giving 15 of the minutes at those 3 positions to Toumani Camara? Like, sure, maybe you can play some of Toumani Camara at the 4, maybe he barely plays at the 3, but it's like, if you're starting him, normally you'd let him run with the starters. Yeah. So that is kind of my question, is like, somebody has to get burnt minutes-wise there if you're going to start Toumani Camara at 3, and who is it? I have no clue. Like, maybe Scoot doesn't play as much because he's getting into foul trouble in preseason and maybe is at that level of ready. I'm not sure. I just wonder where the minutes cut comes from.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could just play kind of small in the bench unit. I don't think you have to. You could stagger Jeremy back in with the bench, I guess, and let Toumani have a few minutes at the 4. But yeah, I think that you just cut out the Walker and Chris Murray minutes and just maybe run Thibault at the back of 4 or something. I don't know. But yeah, you're going to have to be a little bit more creative. Are you muted?
I was muted. Why am I muted? When did I mute? That's why I wanted to trade Brogdon, though, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
It just made it so much easier to be able to, like, oh, look at Toumani Kamara. Look how good he looks in preseason. We can just slot him in at the 3, and we have minutes there, and we can still play Scoot, Ant, Sharp, Thibault, a decent amount of minutes.
Mm-hmm.
With Brogdon there, it's like you're playing 6 guys, and a lot of them are important guys at point guard, shooting guard, small forward. Your best player, in my opinion, Anthony Simons, is going to be playing at those positions. So is your star young rookie and Scoot Henderson. So is Shaedon Sharp. Like, just makes things really interesting as to how Chauncey Billups deals with that and whose minutes get cut. And that's why I wanted to trade Brogdon. It's just because it made it possible and a little bit easier to find minutes for everyone with Toumani Kamara playing some 3. And then you could be looking at Jabari Walker, who I think has had a good training camp in a good preseason. You could play him at some backup 4, and you could play both those guys. Right now, I do not think they have enough minutes to play both those guys more than, 10, 11 minutes a game, basically. So I think it has to be one of Kamara, Chris Murray, and Jabari Walker. I think it's going to be Kamara. But basically, a point I've made on a previous stream is having Brogdon on the team basically cuts into potentially everyone's minutes because guys can swing up and down positions. So, yeah.
At least Brogdon has some size. It's not ideal, but, he can play the 1, 2, or the 3. So I have a philosophical question, and I want everyone in chat to answer too. Okay, so we've seen Sharp have 2 really good games when there wasn't many guards playing, and we saw him have 2 bad games when he was playing with mostly the main rotation or the starting lineup in the second game, or whatever the case may be. Do you want to play him more with the starters until he figures it out and continues to do that? Or would you rather play a player that fits in better with the starters and have him just have a different role off the bench? But he might not be, if he does that, you're playing to his strengths and not really helping him develop into the player we'll probably eventually need him to be in the starting lineup.
So my answer to that is you can bring him off the bench, give him a little bit more responsibility when he's in the game if he's coming off the bench, I guess. But also still try and challenge him with other things off the bench. Like, I don't think it's something where he has to start. I do want to see him run with Simons and Scoot, even if he's coming off the bench, just to see what that 3-guard lineup looks like. I think Sharp can play some 3. He's bigger than Norman Powell was. He's bigger than CJ McCollum was. He's bigger than Anthony Simons. And also he plays bigger vertically because he can jump out the gym. So as far as Sharp goes, like, I don't know if it has to be an either or thing quite to that extent. And I think that's something for Chauncey to figure out, is how to challenge him no matter what the role is. Challenge him defensively. Even if he's playing against bench lineups, a lot of bench lineups will have a really good offensive player. I think if Sharp is coming off the bench, he should be the guy tasked with guarding that player just for development purposes. If we're trying to win every game, though, Matisse Thybulle will be the one guarding those players. And that's what I expect Chauncey to do. So
I kind of feel like Thybulle's better off as like a Rocco type defender where he's more off ball than on ball. But
yeah, if you got him and Robert Williams and Jeremy Grant at times, like, we have enough guys with length that can fly around a little bit and protect the rim a little bit, where if Sharp's getting cooked, if you're challenging him and he's getting cooked, we have guys that can try and make up for that can rotate, bother a shot at the rim, block a shot at the rim, force a kick out pass. I think a big thing with this team comes down to guarding 3s off of kick out passes and not getting perpetually stuck in rotation when the offense drives, collapses the defense, and kicks it out, because it seems like we just close out so bad that then there's another drive, and then there's another kick out if we are able to stop that. We get stuck rotating constantly, and that wears you out defensively. Like, a big thing is got to have better closeouts, got to be able to not get beat on every single closeout, or You can't close out short and give up wide open threes. So it's tough in the league to do that, but that is a key that this team has struggled with for a long time. But if you got guys with length and athleticism behind a guy like Sharp, I feel like it actually makes it an even better situation to challenge him, because you got some guys that can make up for it. It's not going to be a situation where like he's just constantly getting scored on to the point where his confidence is shot, right? Like, I think you'll see Robert Williams III making some big defensive plays and even sparking the team a little bit through some of his help on, some really good offensive player driving against Shaedon Sharp. So I want to challenge him. I absolutely want to challenge him defensively.
Yeah, and you look at like OKC, for example. I'm not saying we're going to be as good as them during this time frame, but they had Harden come off the bench, and then by the time it was obvious he should be starting, they trade him and he becomes a star. Like, I could definitely see that for Sharp. But it's weird because when we were trying to like win with Dame, I was saying this all last year that I want him to be like the sixth man this year. But then when we found out that Dame was going to be gone and not a part of this, I don't know, it switched for me to, I just want him to be on the court as much as possible, getting as many reps and opportunities as possible. And I don't know if he's going to get it, like you said, with the amount of rotation players we have that are going to get minutes. And I think it was Trent Calmer, sorry if it was someone else, said in chat that Chauncey said today that Brogdon's going to be closing some game or most games. I don't know how Chauncey knows that already, but
so we're not going to put Scoot in those closing situations?
I mean, I'm assuming I don't know, man.
Like, or are we going to play Brogdon, Scoot, and Simons? Because I don't think he's going to close with Brogdon over Simons.
Yeah.
So is sure. Simons going to be playing some three?
I think
it has to be Scoot, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think Brogdon's fine at the three a little bit. I mean, it's not ideal, but I think it's fine. But, yeah, I think, well, one, Chauncey's, I already saw it in preseason. He's gonna lean on Ant like he leaned on Dame, and expect Ant to perform like that. But I think I don't know. I don't think Chauncey can help himself. I think he's going to lean on the vets a little too much.
Yeah. That's really interesting to see how he handles Scoot Henderson. Because I want Scoot Henderson to feel the pressure of crunch time, close game situations in the league, especially on the road in a packed stadium. Like, nothing can prepare you for that. You have to go through it. And I don't think that's something where, like, Scoot's going to be bothered by those situations. I just think exposure to those situations can only help a dude's development like that. So, obviously, he has to earn his minutes a little bit. So, if he's out there playing terribly, like, then sure, Brogdon closes. But I don't really understand Chauncey saying that right now.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's kind of weird that he's saying that right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It just feels like they're going to try to win games. I forgot what.
There's a comment in chat that said he would not prioritize development over winning.
Yeah.
I don't, I'll trust the guy in chat because I didn't hear. But
I don't know what the exact quote is there. I didn't hear that part, but yeah, I do know that there was a preseason game and it's happened twice. I specifically remember, like, wow, that's going to be his go-to this year. It's the other team went on a run and we started playing bad, and they showed Chauncey on the bench and he's calling down for Ant to come back in. Like, that's and not that Ant shouldn't be playing a lot, because he should. Like you said, he's our best player, but like I just have a feeling he's going to lean a lot more on the vets than he probably should this year.
We have somebody else in chat that said, what he said is you can develop and still be trying to win. Yeah, sorry, I didn't listen to the interview, so I am behind here. But at the end of the day, like, you you can't prioritize winning so much that you're not prioritizing development. Like, I understand he's going to go out there, try and win games, and he's not just going to throw games at the start of the season, but you can't prioritize winning to the point where you throw development out of the window. Yeah. Like, development really has to matter. And I'm of the mindset of, like, development is what matters the most. Like, that should be priority number one, but I also understand that as a head coach, right, like, maybe I would feel a little different if I was the head coach of this team, right? You want, especially in Chauncey's situation, like, he wants to put wins on his resume. He wants to coach in a playoff series. He wants to have a successful season, and he's going to coach like that. That's just human. Like, unless somebody from the front office says, you know what, nope, we're only going to give you George Condit and Justin Minaya, so you have to lose games. Don't even worry about winning. And he's just like, oh, screw it, this roster is so trash. Okay, I guess we're tanking. I guess I'll go along with the tank, and maybe we can get somebody good for me next year. Until it gets to that point, he's going to try and win games. And I fully understand that. And I might state my frustrations with the decision that I feel like is only prioritizing winning compared to development, but that's just based on my own opinion. I understand why he would maybe start a Matisse Thybulle at the 3, or end games with Brogdon instead of Scoot.
Yeah, because Eric Olsen has a good point. He is, I mean, I don't know if he's on the hot seat this year, but if he has a really bad season and he's trying to win games and it's not happening, plus he's not developing players, right? I mean, there's a chance he's coaching for his job, and also, I mean, he's probably not getting another head coaching job anytime soon if he fails to like even get much out of this roster. So,
and if we end up firing him in the end, we might hire Terry Stotts back. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll have to get into that in a little bit. But I just think that, combined with the fact that I do think there's still this belief that they're setting expectations low so that they can exceed them and everyone looks great. Chauncey, Joe, all those guys, and kind of stick it to Dame wanting out of this situation. So I do think they're not going to tank at all this year. I don't think they're going to pull the shoot. Like, maybe with a few games left, if they have a chance at, the fifth best odds again, like maybe they lose a couple games at the end. But outside of that, I don't think they're going to be like just flat out playing George Condit, like you said.
I want point Condit.
Yeah, so like I don't think there's going to be many games like that this year, even if it's going well because or poorly. Because the thing is, they also know that the fans are excited, but look how much less excitement there is just based on a few preseason games, right?
Yeah.
So imagine if we're like 10-30 or something, at some point. Like, then the excitement is going to be gone. It'll come back in future years. I'm not saying it's not going to be long term, but they already had 2 years of fans checking out at the end of seasons. I mean, we know that very well here on Blazers Uprise, right? So I don't think they want that situation this year where fans check out and are like, this team sucks, it's boring, or whatever. They want a team that's out there competing every night and has a chance to win every game. And so I think they're just going to go for it. And that will include, in my opinion, them doing some things that both you and I will sit here and say, why are we starting Ryan Arcidiacono over Shaden Sharp? Like that kind of stuff this season. It's going to happen a lot, I think, and it's going to be frustrating for us and people that don't watch all of our shows or understand us will think we're just being negative or whatever. But we're actually like we're all in on this rebuild right now, right? Like I don't want to speak for you, but like, we want to maximize the rebuild. That's the only.
Yeah, it's very simple. It's very simple.
We traded Dame.
We've said that multiple times.
Yes, we traded Dame. We moved on. Like, we said what we said about the Dame situation. Still, will never sit right the way we treated him. But we can all agree that we need to maximize this rebuild and give Scoot and whoever ends up being the long-term pieces around him the best chance to win a title. And if we're trying to win games this year, I don't know if that's the best route.
Yep. Shout out to Bryce McFadden, $5 donation, says, thanks for all the streams. It's cool that you guys constantly come out with Blazers content. Not a lot of people doing it as much as you guys. Thank you, Bryce. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate the $5 donation. And yeah, we're going to keep it coming. Got a lot of fun, like, little things to toss into this show, Blazers Uprise Live, and into, like, other things just to try and bring the entertainment. Because, Eric, I am prepared for the struggle. I'm just simply prepared for the struggle. And you know, it's kind of nice. Like, after the couple of trades we made, there was a lot of people sitting there saying, like, oh, maybe we could, this team is actually good. Maybe we can be in the playoffs. Like, I mean, maybe we can, but I'm not going to get my hopes up, given that this is a bunch of guys who've never played together. There isn't a single all-star caliber player on the team. You can maybe say Anthony will be that this year, but we have to see it. Like, you know, it's all hope. It's all, what do they say? Hopium, you know? It's all like, hopefully Ant can score 25 a game. Hopefully DeAndre Ayton can start hitting threes and turn into the star that the Suns drafted him to be when they took him over Luka.
Or that he thinks he is.
Yeah, exactly. You know, hopefully Robert Williams III can stay healthy. Hopefully Sharp can take a step. Hopefully Scoot is, you know, a really good rookie. It's all a bunch of hopefullys. And normally when you're saying hopefully this, hopefully that, not everything comes true. And for this team to be a playoff team, like, everything would have to come true is kind of the whole thing. So maybe it can, maybe everything goes right. Maybe we're like the Kings last year who got the 3 seed because they had a historically low amount of injuries, where if they dealt with the same injury luck as other teams, they might have been in the play-in. And then they lose in the first round, right? Like, so some teams are going to be more fortunate than others. Maybe for once it could finally be the Portland Trail Blazers, because normally we're on the other end of the stick. But you know, it's just kind of wait and see for that reason. Like, I'm not going to get my hopes up that we're going to come out setting the world on fire. And it's like, then 3 NBA preseason games later, we're 0-3 against NBA teams, turning over the ball a lot, fouling a lot. It's like, yeah, this is basically what we should have expected. It's not even bad. Like, this team is going to go through some growing pains to build chemistry. They haven't played together. They're super young, so they're going to be undisciplined, which means turnovers and fouls. Just look at Scoot. Like, at some point, he will do a better job of that, but as a rookie, he's going to struggle with that. And it's just realistic, in my opinion. And it's not putting unfair expectations on a team that shouldn't be expected to make any sort of noise, in my opinion. So, you know, people can have their hopes up. That's completely fine. You know, I'm not here to tell anybody that they shouldn't have their hopes up or shouldn't think this team can make some noise, because in the end, maybe I'm wrong. I could definitely be wrong. So, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm right or anybody's wrong. This is just what I personally expect. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, Chelsea's going to try and do the best job, just as long as these players work hard and do their best job to become better, to play hard, that sort of thing, then I have no problems with how this season goes, because that's really truly what it comes down to. It's not a season that should be analyzed based on results of games and wins and losses.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. I kind of am drinking the Hopium Kool-Aid.
I know, you always do.
No, well, I don't always do, but
you like yourself a good side of Hopium.
But what? I mean, I had him picked 10th or 9th or 10th or something last season, or you had him 9th and I had him 10th or something. I forget.
Yeah, silly me.
I forgot what we had or where we were exactly.
But you remember before the season? You remember how everybody hated on me because I wasn't drinking the Nasir Little Hopium potion. You know, you remember that? Yeah, like, I don't know. I've never tried to get too caught up, but then I still always overproject them.
Yeah,
so they're 15th in the West this year, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, see, I think because I heard today that Robert Williams was basically the best player in practice today and absolutely dominated. So obviously it's hard to get too excited about him, because every time Celtics fans got excited, there was some sort of injury.
He's already missed games for us.
Yeah. I think he's probably playing in those games if it wasn't preseason, but
Yeah.
it sucks that we didn't get a chance to. And I still don't understand, like, all these teams. It's weird that we had such a long gap in between our last preseason game and when the regular season starts, and you're watching all these games days later. Now we're 3 days later. There's still all these preseason games going on, and not only that, but we don't even play any of our main guys in the. Well, we played Scoot and Sharp, but like all our vets and stuff, we didn't play any of them in the last preseason game with 9 days to rest. It just didn't make any sense to me. Yeah, so would have liked to seen them play together at least once in the preseason. But I look at it this way: if you're a good coach, which I'm not saying Chauncey is, obviously he has to prove that he's even a average coach at this point. But they definitely have the pieces to kind of make it click. They have different players that can do a lot of different things. They have some vets, they have some shooting, they have some defense now. They have a roster that, if things start to go right for a few people, like you said, I think they could be really good, including Kamara if he's starting level right away. Not necessarily dominating as a starter, but a respectable starting rotation guy. Like they do have enough talent, I think. It might be largely dependent on Scoot not struggling much his rookie year, which is probably unfair to ask of him. But we heard for all off season about how he was not your average point guard, and he's played professional. I know we know not to trust that, but like those statements were made for a reason, though. Like, he has played professionally for 2 years. Like, he shouldn't be a guy that takes, it shouldn't be like, well, Zach Collins is a little different because he ended up contributing right away. But like, when we drafted him, the thought was he was like 2 years away from helping us, right? He was a project.
Yeah.
But like, that shouldn't be Scoot. Scoot should, even though he's young, should be able to come in and impact games right away. And maybe he defers a little bit more to Simons than he would normally, but I think that's okay right away. And I think, I don't know, I don't think it is that big of a thing to say most of those things that you said end up panning out. Like, Robert Williams just magically stays healthy, and plays a little better than he did in Phoenix. Scoot's decent right away. Simons takes a jump.
But don't we know better? Like,
no,
nothing ever goes that way for us.
I'm not saying it's going to. I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't be sitting here shocked if we're like the surprise story of the NBA this year.
I don't know if shocked is the right word. I'd be... Because here's the thing. The surprise wouldn't be that, like, we played well. The surprise would be, like, everything going right. You know what I mean? I think Scoot's game, and maybe this is a little bit too much based on preseason, I think for him, compared to, like, a point guard that can really shoot the ball, I think his game might actually take a little bit more time to get up to speed in the NBA because he relies upon putting a ton of pressure on the rim and getting downhill, and he's dealing with the most athletic, quickest, biggest shot blockers in the league, perimeter defenders in the league, and also you move the three-point line back. His form, he misses a lot of shots short, so I think, he hit a couple threes in preseason, but I do think that Scoot, everybody's like, oh, he'll hit the ground running. I think his style of game will take a little bit more time. It's not like I've soured on him long-term at all whatsoever. I just think starting off in the league, there's going to be a few more growing pains than people expected because it was like, oh, he played in the G League. Oh, look how good physically built he is. Like, he's physically built for the NBA. Look at the reads he's making. So I think that's why people just expect him to come in and, some people expect him to light the world on fire. But I do think like him making things happen on the offensive end, especially in that half court, is going to be a bit of a work in progress. And that's kind of what we saw in preseason. Simply because like pick and rolls with a deeper NBA 3-point line, guys are going to go under screens, right? He has to make them pay. I think it's going to take some time to develop his shot to get to that point. Getting into the paint, like there's a couple good moments, but a lot of his like dribble drive stuff, especially in that Suns game, which was his best game, was in transition. So half-court offense is just kind of the big question mark for me with him, and I do think there will be some growing pains until he kind of figures it out. But that's what I've been saying with Scoot. I've been preaching patience. Like, you know, I was saying the expectations might be a little bit too high for him, and people need to be a little patient with him, despite him being the 3rd overall pick. He's 19 years old. He's a 19-year-old point guard. And those, you know, 19-year-old point guards normally don't come in and set the world on fire right away. So
I mean, we have seen 19-year-olds come in and set the world on fire right away, and he was supposed to.
Like who?
Luka.
Let's compare their games. Okay, Luka's 6'7".
Okay.
And can shoot.
But Scoot has probably, or does have more athleticism and probably a stronger frame, quicker.
Okay. But Luka was like one of a kind.
I know. Trae Young was also 19, came in. Played pretty well right away.
I don't think Trae Young was that good as rookie year, but you know,
I mean, he wasn't good compared to Luka because he was traded for him. So everyone,
yeah, I don't know. Like maybe Scoot goes out and averages 20 and 10. You know,
well, I'm not saying.
I know. I'm just. What I'm saying is, I'm not saying he can't do anything. Is all I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying he can't do this or he can't be great right away. I just think like reasonably. Should be patient, not expect him to be like a top 50, 75 NBA player right away.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I just look at it like he does have an elite skill right away, his passing ability. Now, if he's getting flustered on the court, maybe that leads to a lot of turnovers and stuff, and it doesn't look good. But I do think even if he's not scoring much, if he's getting into the paint and kicking out for shooting, and a lot of his bad moments were with pretty bad lineups. He didn't really, I mean, our main lineup didn't play a ton with him. So I don't know. I think maybe some of his struggles in preseason was a little overblown. But yeah, I don't know. I think he'll be fine. But he's going to have some struggles. But I think, you know, having Simons there as the guy, if Simons wasn't here, which a lot of people don't want him to be here,
it might be the worst team in the league.
Yeah, I just think all the pressure would be on him to be all the offense, you know, or to create all the offense, and I think that'll be key for him. Everyone's saying like, oh, maybe he should come, or not everyone, but there's a lot of people saying now, after watching preseason, that Scoot should come off the bench because he played too much off ball and Simons has the ball too much with the starting lineup. But like he actually looked better off ball than he did on ball at times during preseason. So like maybe that
was the thing we were talking about. Like Scoot has to learn how to play off the ball, right? Like but I didn't think he was as bad off the ball as people acted like.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you're talking about like, oh, can you play next to LaMelo? I thought they would have been fine next to each other.
Yeah, I still think we have enough offense with Ayton, Jeremy, and Sharp, or Ant. Whoever starts at the three, I guess, doesn't. It's a big difference between Sharp and Kamara in terms of points per game, probably. But I do think that there's enough scoring. So, you know, Scoot can just come in and focus on setting up the offense and not turning the ball over and playing defense. I think he'd be fine. I mean, it's weird because like people are just going to look at his stats, but I think how he plays and how he fits in, and if he's not trying to do too much, because we've seen his finishing is a little rough. So I don't know how much I want him trying to score in traffic, at least right away. So I'd much rather him be setting the table for his teammates and getting others good looks than him trying to force shots right away just to average 16 and 8 or whatever. But I don't know. I think he'll be fine.
I mean, even if everything goes right, this team still has to build chemistry. I think they were very disjointed, and I think some of that might lie at Chelsea's feet, like some of the blame, but also you're talking about an entire team where like none of these guys have really played next to each other, and it's not like they got a ton of reps next to each other in the preseason. There's going to be growing pains because these guys don't know how each other play yet. Like, they don't know each other's tendencies, right? And it's kind of like something that's hard to explain, but when you've played with the same guy for multiple years, like, you know where he likes the ball passed to him, you know when he'll look to cut, he knows that you'll find him when he cuts, right? Like, if you're a guy that can pass, like you know their game in and out, and that's beneficial. Chemistry matters, and this team, I think they'll struggle from a chemistry department. I think you'll see a lot of high turnover games where it's not even like a talent deficit at all. It's just these guys gotta get used to playing next to each other. I wish we had more preseason games so they could get more reps like that. And I think that's also why the offense at times got a little bit stagnant. So hopefully there can be positive progress soon regarding that, but I do think that's going to be a problem. I also think, like, foul-wise, I was a bit worried about this team in the preseason. And then the three-point ball. Like, the three-point ball is a question mark for the first time in a long time. This team shot the ball really bad in the preseason, it felt like. I don't know the exact number, but, Chris Murray's like 1 for 14. Sharp didn't shoot the ball well. Like, Scoot shot the ball better than both those guys, which was a little surprising. Toumani shot the ball great.
Toumani shot the ball great.
Yeah, I mean, Anthony in his final game, the first couple games, he was a little, he was okay, but he wasn't like star caliber Anthony Simons that we're hoping he can be. But that third preseason game definitely broke out as such. So there's just lots of question marks too, and that's why the season is fascinating. That's why I'm looking forward to the season, just to see those get answered and see how those little intricacies of the game regarding this team play out over the first 10, 20 games. Mm-hmm. And that's what we'll be focusing on in post-game shows too. So that's where the fun is in watching this team, in my opinion. Obviously, everybody loves a big poster dunk, a big highlight, but just seeing the little storylines, the little intricacies play out is something that I enjoy.
Yeah, that's one thing I was going to mention was post-game shows are going to be a lot more analysis on what a particular player like Scoot did on a certain night and how that's going to, is that a good way he played tonight to develop into what we need him to be, or is this like the wrong way he needs to play, and all that kind of stuff. It's not going to be like negative wise.
It's going to be chill.
Right. Yeah. And we're going to talk about how these players are developing on a night in and night out basis.
I say it's going to be chill, but who knows with us, right, Eric? Who knows? We'll probably find something to get mad about at some point, those Blazers Uprise guys. So it'll probably be refs. Like, I'll get mad at refs. I need something to get mad at, right? So I'll get mad at the refs over screwing over Scoot, where he gets like a poster dunk and they call a charge. Just like they did to Cam Whitmore, which shouldn't have been a charge in the preseason. So that's where my anger will be reserved for.
Yeah. Well, speaking of someone that our anger has been reserved for in the past, what were your thoughts when you saw Terry Stotts stepping down today?
So, like, I feel like it's more than just this, but I didn't know what to think. Like, why? And then there was the Shams article that like looked into it a little bit, and apparently there was a situation where like after a practice, or I think it was at the end of a practice, the players and the coaches were huddling, and Adrian Griffin, who's the new head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, Mike Budenholzer is gone. Adrian Griffin told the coaches in the entire team huddle, like, I want to, huddle with you guys right after this. So then they broke the huddle, and all the coaches went to their huddle afterwards that Adrian Griffin wanted, and Terry Stotts was the only coach who didn't, and walked away to go talk to like Dame and Giannis about the offense. And Adrian Griffin like told him to come here, to come to the huddle, and Stotts didn't want to. So then Griffin yelled at him.
Give me a minute or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So people were saying like, oh yeah, Stotts shouldn't, he's yelling at Stotts. Of course Stotts didn't like that, right? But I thought actually it was the opposite. It made Stotts look bad, which of course I thought it made Stotts look bad. But man, if your head coach is, yeah, I'm just such a Stotts hater. If your head coach is saying to all the coaches in the middle of a team huddle, like, I want to huddle with you guys right after this, and then your lead assistant like walks away, and then you tell him like, oh, we're huddling, and he basically argues with you on it, that's disrespectful. Like, what are you doing? You're not the head coach. You're the lead assistant. Why are you walking away from that? So I thought that made Stotts look bad. I assume there's more to it than that, but my whole thing is like, does Stotts really want to be an assistant coach? I think he just wants to be a head coach.
Yeah. Well, first of all, let me just say, if Stotts is stepping down for any kind of health reason, maybe like something we don't know about yet, like hopefully that's not the case and hopefully everything's okay there. So I just want to make that clear, like, what we think about him as a head coach has nothing to do with him personally. If he is experiencing something that made him want to step down,
you just think it would like get out.
You
know?
And it'd be weird that like Adrian Griffin didn't know about that. But with that being said, this isn't going to happen over someone saying, can you come join us for the huddle, and him saying, give me a minute or whatever. And then like, that's the moment where you've been pissed for weeks at someone, and it's like, you're just waiting for that little tiny thing to set you off. Right. And so like that had to have been the final, just like, if Adrian Griffin says one more freaking word to me, I'm gonna say something back, right? Like, because I'm sick of his crap already. It's only been a few weeks, and I'm already sick of him telling me this stuff, or like of the way he coaches and stuff. Like, there had to have been some sort of build up to that, to where that moment like got magnified and blown up, because like it had just been like bottled up for a couple weeks, and now it just spilled over. So I think it's probably a lot of truth to what you said. Like, Stotts wasn't really like, I mean, there's a reason why he hasn't been an assistant. There was a report that last year he got an offer to join Darvin Ham's staff in LA, and he turned that down. So I think maybe he just had an issue. It might not even be as an assistant coach. I mean, Adrian Griffin's a first-time head coach, but like, with that being said, he did pay his dues. Like, he's been rumored to be like in the running for jobs for years now. He did finally get an opportunity that he thinks he deserved, and he's not going to let some guy come in and change him how he wants to coach. So I think sometimes it just doesn't work out. It's probably better to cut bait now. It's just seemingly really weird, because you got Dame traded there, and now people are like, oh, does Stotts not like Dame? Or is there drama there, or like some sort of tension, and that could have been, like, I don't know, but I don't know. It seems like something else was going on here, and hopefully we get the full story someday.
Yeah, I just could absolutely see Stotts just wanting a bunch of responsibility and a bunch of power as an assistant that maybe a head coach wouldn't want to give him, because we heard stuff in the past like Stotts didn't really put anything in the hands of his assistants in Portland, and just, I don't know. Well, I'm just speculating. I'm just guessing, but I feel like there's probably something around there where maybe Adrian Griffin, as a first-time head coach, didn't handle his lead assistant the most professional way. So Stotts, somebody who's been around for a while, didn't like that. But I also think there is probably an element where Stotts just wants a ton of responsibility and power that maybe a head coach doesn't want to give him. Because if Stotts was head coach, I don't think he'd be giving his lead assistant that much power,
Well, we saw that here after Chauncey's first year with Anisha Curry. Like, all the players like Trendon Watford, all the young guys were talking about how influential she was in their development that year, and that she was really we heard nothing but good things about her. And then it was just like they've decided to part ways or something, And
It's always something weird with this organization, man.
yeah, well, I mean that the Milwaukee stuff isn't our organization, but yeah, sometimes with assistants it just doesn't work out, and it's just you just aren't seeing eye to eye, you aren't on the same page. But yeah, it's just kind of strange because he did win a championship as an assistant coach, and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Any other Blazer I forgot. So on the same day that Stotts is now unemployed, Neil Olshey's employed and a consultant for the 76ers. I thought that was kind of hilarious that you get a Olshey is employed tweet and a Stotts is unemployed tweet on the same day. It's not like I'm rooting for Olshey or anything, but I just thought it was funny. Yeah. Neil Olshey and Daryl Morey, you mean?
Yeah, Neil Olshey and Daryl Morey.
Oh, I thought you said Stotts.
Maybe I did.
I don't know. Yeah, interesting dynamic.
Yeah, he's been there for a few months now, I guess, but yeah, it just came out today.
Yeah, very weird, very random. So yeah, Olshey, Stotts, got a lot of former Blazer stuff.
Olshey, when this Harden thing blows up on Morey and he gets fired, Olshey's waiting there to take over and not give Embiid any pieces to win either.
Oh my goodness, yeah. No, watch Olshey actually just
He pulls it off, yeah.
Yeah. God. It beats Dame. The Sixers beat the Bucks because Olshey got Embiid a legitimate second star.
If Olshey, if that happens, I'm freaking livid, dude. No way.
Oh man, yeah, that'd be pretty brutal. Absolutely.
He gets CJ.
CJ, yeah, CJ outplays Dame in the Eastern Conference Finals. This time CJ won't step on the sideline. Yeah. Oh man, that's funny. Anyway. Roster cuts. What are your thoughts on those? I'll just piggyback off of it.
Well, I still don't know what the heck's going on with our two ways. I mean, I know Skylar Mays is locked into one. But what are we doing? I don't know. We didn't play him at all. There were rumors that they weren't even with the team. I don't know what's going on with those two.
Yeah, no idea. I would love for some reporting to be done on that. You know what I mean? I would love for some insight into what the two-way situation is. But yeah, Ibubaji, John Butler, where the hell have those guys been? I don't know. So I wonder if they're gonna put Duop Reith on a two-way, but I don't want Duop Reith on a two-way over. I mean, if he's over John Butler, I don't really care. But I still think Ibubaji is one guy that maybe you could get something out of him long down the road. And that's really what two-ways are for. Just to take shots in the dark at getting a guy that maybe you can develop. And in a few years, you have yourself a Miami Heat type of guy who was undrafted and you developed, Because that's what the Heat keep repetitively doing. And now it's Cole Swider is the next Duncan Robinson and Drew Smith is the next Gabe Vincent. And it's every player that's on a two-way with the Heat now, it's that player's going to be really good in 5 years.
Yeah.
Max Strus, another, kind of example of that. They turn these guys into legitimate NBA players somehow. It's very uncanny in a way. So, that's what two-way spots are for. They're not nothing. Not nothing.
Kane Highsmith and Orlando Robinson, all two-way guys.
Orlando Robinson, yeah.
Look nice now this year in preseason. So, yeah. So we have 13 guys. If you include Moses Brown, they could still cut him, and they'd owe him $250K in dead money. So I guess they could do that. Maybe they stretch that. just to make it minimal. I don't know why they gave him non or partial guaranteed money, but let's just say he makes the team simply because he has guaranteed money. That's 13, and that leaves Knox, Mania, Condit, and Reith left as our guys who one of those would have to make the team, or we're signing someone from another team.
Yeah. I mean, anybody that gets cut is a name to watch, I guess, if they're young. Because this team could go out and get someone else. It could be somebody that's not on the team right now. It's kind of hard to project. Like, I think Moses Brown is going to be the third string center, if I had to guess right now. But I do wonder if Duop Reith might have beat him out somehow.
Yeah.
Like, Duop Reith is better offensively. Moses Brown is better defensively, is what it comes down to. And it's not like Moses Brown is great defensively, but Duop Reith is just struggles on the defensive side of the ball. So don't know there. And then it was funny because like Malachi Smith and Antoine Davis never played, and then they get cut, and it was just kind of like felt like a complete afterthought. Our end of the roster like training camp invites just felt like such afterthoughts in a way. Like, I know they kind of are by nature, but more so this year than any other year.
Yeah.
So, who knows? Yeah, I was going to say, like, I have no idea what the end of our roster is going to look like. We'll obviously react to that when it gets here, but, yeah, I have no clue. No clue. We will see.
Yeah, we do have a little bit of room. Technically, we still have our MLE, too, if we wanted to sign someone. The trade exceptions too can be used to claim players off waivers. So we have.
Give me Darius Baisley. Give me Darius Baisley, bro. I'd take Darius Baisley over any of our two-way guys right now. Can he even be on a two-way?
No, because he's played 4 years.
I'd take him at the end of our roster.
Yeah. He's shown some things defensively. But...
Yeah, and offensive, like he can still handle and move. You know what I mean? Like I don't get it.
It looks like one of either Harry Giles or Trendon Watford's going to make the Nets team, though.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Who do you think it'll be?
I think it'll be Trendon.
Yeah.
But,
Harry Giles has looked decent, though.
Yeah.
Like he always does in the preseason. Like he did for us. I want Harry Giles to make the Brooklyn Nets just so I can give Steven crap about it, because Steven just hates how Blazer fans loved Harry Giles in preseason.
Yeah.
Harry Giles is like a sore subject for him. Very weird.
He has a lot of sore subjects.
Yeah, he does. He does. So we'll have our podcast tomorrow too, by the way.
If Watford makes the team and plays rotation minutes and looks decent, does Cronin get heat for that? Or is that...
See, you could literally say like, oh, Cronin traded Scoot for a second-round pick at the deadline this year. Does he get heat for that? And I could sit here and say, like, oh, they'll probably find a way to excuse it.
Yeah.
Legitimately, it does not matter what the question is. Like, part of me just says, no, he'll never get heat.
Fuzzy says both Butler and Baji were sick during preseason. I don't know.
Didn't really hear much about that, though.
Yeah.
Leave a like on the stream. We're at 97. Let's get to 100. Let's get to 100. Also, I'm going to start pinning the comments for our sponsors. We got a lot of cool sponsors this year. And shout out to Mental Sleep Mask, because they're the sponsor for this episode. Been pitching them for a while. I love their product. I use their product. I got the sound mask sitting here next to me. Also, I know a lot of you guys have bought Manta Sleep Masks and love them. So that's cool to hear. You can go to the link in the description box below. Use the promo code Uprise 10% off. They make for a great gift. I know a lot of you are probably going to procrastinate your Christmas shopping, so I'm here to say don't do it. I got you covered. Manta Sleep Masks make for a great gift for someone you care about, or for yourself if you want to take care of yourself, because taking care of yourself is a good thing. Thank you to them for sponsoring this post game. Thank you to them for sponsoring Blazers Uprise Live. I appreciate them as always.
It's a rec league post game show.
It's a rec league post game show. Yeah, I played 3 games.
Tori, let's talk about your rec league. Let's talk about your basketball.
Reddit's gonna freak out though. Reddit's gonna freak out. Yeah, click the link in the pinned comment. I made it even easier. Link's right there. Shout out to Chris S. 2 Eurodono. Any thoughts on Mike Schmidt's YouTube video? I watched a little bit of it yet. I watched a little bit of it, but I don't know. Didn't really have any thoughts.
Yeah, I'd actually seen that a couple weeks ago. But yeah, it wasn't anything earth-shattering or anything. Bourne is about to put on his Manta mask. That's good. And Tori's muted again.
Why am I? I don't even remember muting. That's twice today. That's not normal.
Dang, man.
That's not normal. Yeah, shout out to Borna. Appreciate Borna, man. Borna got himself a Manta sleep mask. He loves them too. So, did you agree about Scoot being a potential elite shot creator? I mean, he has the potential to be anything. That's kind of the, thing about him being a 19-year-old. Mm-hmm. And as physically athletic as he is, he just has to be able to hit jumpers off the dribble. Like, I feel like to be an elite shot creator in today's day and age, you got to be able to pull up from 3 off the pick and roll. If they're running drop or go under, you have to be able to hit a step back 3. Like, a ton of the best shot creators in the league hit step backs. Like, step backs is a huge move to create space, and then the best shot creators in the league can step back and hesitate off of it and then get downhill. So he needs to add that sort of stuff to his offensive game to be an elite shot creator. I think it's going to take a lot of time for him to get there, but I'm not going to rule it out. I'm not going to say he can't.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anytime you have that kind of quickness, that playmaking ability, that body frame, the ability to get to spots on the floor, the ability to blow by anyone in the league, that's you should be able to. I think you should be able to get to being a good shot creator easily, and then elite. I mean, you're just gonna have to keep working on it, but I mean, he's got all the tools necessary outside of maybe his shot. And what if his shot develops, man? I don't think there's any question he'll be an elite shot creator.
The thing with his form, I don't know. Like, he's smooth pulling up from mid-range with the way he shoots the ball in the G League. We just haven't really seen it enough from 3. And I don't know if his form is, like, good enough to pull up with good rhythm from 3.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still have questions about his form. I still think he needs to make a couple of subtle changes to the way he shoots the ball. But, you see other guys have figured it out. And here's the thing. A lot of guys have made changes to their shots. Like, Lonzo Ball is the perfect example. But even Anthony Simons. You remember Anthony Simons' rookie year where on his follow-through, his guide hand would end up higher than his shooting hand? Yeah. Do you remember that? Yeah. It was weird, and his shot was flat. He didn't shoot the best three-point percentage. His form looks a bit different now than it did his rookie year, and he's a better shooter because of it. So, I do think a lot of subtle changes guys make go under the radar. Eric Olson says, Tori, you don't like the wrist, right? Yeah, I don't really like that he has no wrist bend at his set point. I also don't like the way he pops out his elbow. A lot of okay, here, little shooting form thing. Okay.
Oh, great. Here's where this Tori thinks he's a shooting coach.
A little shooting form thing. A lot of dudes will try and shove their elbow in. But the more you shove your elbow in, the more you turn your wrist this way, right? So if you shove your elbow in all the way, like across your body, your hand's going to be sideways to the ball. A lot of guys, the textbook thing is have your elbow in directly underneath the ball, right? That's the textbook way to shoot. But the problem is in order to get their hand through the ball, they have to pop their elbow out. So Scoot you'll see at a set point, the hand's kind of on the side of the ball, and as he brings the ball up, he pops his elbow out to get his hand through the ball and then extends. So that's why that little like hitch on his follow through, and I even showcased it in the scoop video I did. I slowed down the footage and showed you guys, like, he has his elbow in, then he pops it out, brings it back in. Just at your set point, have your elbow out to begin with. It's the same thing I talked about with Nasir Little. Nasir Little he had a really bad hitch his rookie year where he tried to shove his elbow in and then popped it out. Like, if you're going to pop it out on your follow-through, just have it out at your set point is basically my thing. So it's just smoother. Is how I'd explain kind of the way he shoots the ball. It's just that and the wrist are the only two things, because rhythm-wise is good. Maybe he could shoot a little earlier in his jump. He does miss a lot of shots short. But like he has a lot of good things with his jump shot. It's not like his jump shot is broken. That's like the two little subtle improvements that I think he could make that would make him potentially a good shooter at the NBA level, and a guy that could, maybe hit pull-up threes, and that's the dream, right? He can become an all-around elite shot creator.
Yeah. Be interesting to see if he could actually do it, or if he tries to do it, or he just keeps shooting the way he does, because that's how he's always done it. But yeah,
I love Alvaro, man. I love Alvaro. Tyler James says, I'm just remembering people getting so mad at Torrey for wanting Andre Jackson Jr., and now he looks like a quality player. Yeah, I mean,
most people could have seen that he looked like a decent role player at least,
I am very confident in the takes that I had this past draft. Let me just say that. Like, Leonard Miller, I know it was against a non-NBA team, but I still think Leonard Miller is going to be a really good NBA player. And I still think we should have drafted him at 23. If Chris Berry ends up being better, then you could sit here and say, haha, Torrey, you're not a scout, you dummy, you were wrong. And I'll be like, you're right, I was. Hopefully I am wrong. Hopefully Chris ends up being better than Keegan. Well,
there's a lot of other GMs that were dumb then.
Exactly. That's what I say. Well, I'm just like every other GM that misses all the time, And I've had my fair share of misses. But I do, I do try and know these prospects. I do try and have a feel for them. And with Andre Jackson Jr., man, just really good athlete, really good defender that has decent size for a wing and can pass and see the floor and knows how to cut and is just like all around a high basketball IQ guy. Just seems like the type of unique role player that teams would really like to have. That's why I was high on him. I wouldn't mind him pushing the pace, handling the ball on the break, and his defense. I wouldn't mind having that on this team. Shooting is the question mark with him, but maybe he can figure it out. We'll see.
Yeah.
But why didn't we get him, Walsh, or Beauchamp? I would feel so much better about the Dame trade if we got, like, one of those three. Which people will say, like, that's ridiculous. But I was sitting there saying, like, oh, I really like that we got Kamara. And now we're talking about him. The title of this stream is, should he start at the 3 as a rookie? So.
I would have liked to get our second back, because if it's, like, the 32nd pick.
Did you see Julian Phillips? I have not. That was the guy I wasn't high on. Has he been playing well? Julian Phillips been playing well?
I haven't seen anything about that.
I need to do more box score watching. I will once we start picks against the spread for sure. Once the season starts.
Well, Julian Phillips gonna.
You mean Strother? Yes, Strother. My guy, Julian Strother.
Yeah.
UCLA killer. Julian Strother.
Alex wants us to mention Amani Bates because he's playing.
Amani Bates looks good, man. I mean, he's embracing being the type of role player he needs to be in the NBA, which is good.
Yes, scoring and nothing else.
Strother, if he was on a bad team, I don't think he'd look as good. I think Denver was the perfect spot for him. I think that's such, like, glove in hand fit. What's funny is we do our mock offseason. We have 30 members of the community each run an NBA team through, like, a mock offseason. So we do draft, trades, and free agency. And in our mock offseason draft, I think it was Barking Box was running the Nuggets this past mock offseason, right? He drafted Strother for the Nuggets, and I was just like, oh, I love it. Great fit. And then the Nuggets actually draft him in real life. And, yeah, he's going to play for them. Mm-hmm. He's going to be their Christian Brown this year. Like, that a guy that can shoot like that and then attack closeouts and knock down floaters and mid-range shots is just a luxury to have in that sort of offense. The question is, can he guard well enough to not be a complete liability? I don't know on the NBA level, but I mean, a 6'7" small forward that's like a sniper like that can shoot off the move, off the dribble, and then hit floaters. I mean, seems pretty good to me.
Yeah. Farrell Raleigh says, is Dame looking shaky during preseason cause for concern for the Bucks? What do you think?
I mean, he's had shaky preseason games for us, and he's been here for years, so no.
I don't even remember a time where he played well in the preseason. I do think that he might initially, I don't know if this will be like for full games or not, but he might at some point take over. But I do think, I mean, he's shown even last year, Anthony gets it going, he keeps feeding him and kind of defers for at times. So I don't think it's a big deal if he gets off to a slow start, just because he's trying to make sure that long term it works with Giannis and that he can figure out how to play with them. So I think that's more likely to happen. I don't think it's anything wrong with Dame. I just think he's so good that he doesn't want to like overstep coming to a new team. That's Giannis's team. And so I think he'll kind of pick his spots initially until he gets comfortable enough to do it like whenever he thinks he needs them to.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Anything else Blazer related or we could take questions too for a little bit if you want.
Yeah, sounds good. Elizabeth Allen says they'd asked Dame about the Freak Time duo nickname. His response is he didn't care about that kind of stuff, so you can call him whatever you want.
Time. That'd make for a pretty sick shirt.
Do you like Freak Time, Tori?
I would love to get Freak Time on a shirt. That's such a Giannis type of nickname too. That's so funny.
I'm gonna have to start tapping the wrist right before I get some free time.
Oh yeah, why don't you do it while you get some free time?
I don't want to be thinking about it while it's happening. Before.
I mean, I used to have a Blazer poster on my wall. Is all I'm gonna say. Anyway. Hey, she's a real one if she rolls with the wrist tapping. If she's cool with it in the middle of it, then she's a real one.
I mean, I saw that Dame poster on the back of my bedroom door, I guess.
Yeah, the people in the comments section want you to take down.
Dave's gone. You need to take it down.
Yeah. Oh man. Have we spoke of Torrey Stotts? We spoke on Stotts. We spoke on Olshey. We spoke on Freak Time. We spoke on Kamara starting at the 3, maybe, because he was running with the 1s today. That's what this stream's been. It's been a fun stream. I'm ready for I'm ready for the season to start. Like, emotionally, I'm ready for the season to start. Physically, in terms of, like, the graphics I still have to put together and all the work I still have to do, I am not ready for the season to start. So I am starting to stress a little bit because I gotta get some stuff coded. You guys know we had the coded bottom ticker last year, and so I'm working on getting a new version of that. And then watch parties, I'm trying to get like a super advanced, like cool looking watch party template made for our watch party streams that we're doing this year. And then post-game, obviously, like I switch it up every year, so I'm starting to hit a creative block. Like, I don't know what to do with the post-game layout yet. I have like a scoreboard that I think looks sick, but I don't know where to put it, and I don't know how to lay things out. It's like a puzzle. So yeah, I am in terms of that, I am not ready for the season to start, so I gotta make the most out of the next like six days. But you guys always know I put in the effort for you guys, so it's all about putting in effort. You know what I mean? No matter what you're doing, it's all about the effort, Eric. Anyway, you're at a loss. Are you at a loss for words? Are you speechless?
Did you see? Might Never Matter wants to know if you saw Nurkic's performance tonight.
Yeah, get ready for the roller coaster, Suns fans. Like, he's up and down for sure. He did not play well, but they didn't play their stars, right? Like, he's gonna play better next to their stars when he can throw a backdoor pass to Kevin Durant.
And again, like every center in the league, and maybe not as bad as Nurkic looked tonight, but every center is going to have bad games and good games outside of Jokic and Embiid. Yeah. Like it happens. Like there's huge swings, and it looks like they're, every center looks like they're going to be like the third or fourth best center in the league, and then they have a horrible game. Like it's preseason.
Yeah. Yeah. Shooting up, like, he definitely struggled. Definitely was bad if he shot 1 for 11. I didn't even see it, but he definitely was bad if he shot 1 for 11.
Yeah, he got his stuff packed several times.
Yeah, but, like, he's going to have more space when he's rolling off of Devin Booker pick and rolls than, I don't know, Saban Lee pick and rolls, right? Like, Devin Booker's going to draw more attention. He's the type of glue piece that makes sense next to good players. He's not the type of guy where you play him as the number one option offensively and feed him the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing with a lot of role players. If you take them out of their role, they're not going to look as good. If you allow them to play their role next to other players that play roles that complement each other, and it's just a cohesive team, then it's going to look better.
So, yeah.
That's the thing with Kamara starting at the 3. Like, I think that could work because I think he can play the type of role that the Blazers would need from their starting small forward, and I believe in his talent. Like, if you're trying to figure out who should lead the team and it's between him and Sharp, like, you're obviously going with Sharp. If you're looking for your 1A offensively, and those are the 2 options. But if you're looking for a guy that fits and makes sense, different conversation.
Yeah. Alex asked if the Suns kept Keon. They waived Ish Wainwright today. I believe they have one more cut to make, though, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not 100% sure. If there's any Suns fans in here, maybe you can say.
Use anger towards Cronin in the gym as fuel. It works. When I go to the gym, when I play basketball at least, it's my, like, couple of hours where I can just escape the Blazers and escape the internet, escape YouTube, escape Twitter, and put my phone down and not stare at a screen, because I am on a screen all the time. Like, it's literally my escape from reality.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, played 3 rec games tonight. My ankle's, like, 85% maybe? 80%? Like, it's not hurting. I can cut off of it. I can jump off it a little bit, just not 100%. So, that was nice. Gotta touch grass, Tory. No, you gotta touch hardwood. Don't take that the wrong way. Or do. I don't care. Do whatever you want.
Gotta touch wood for Wemby.
Yeah. Gotta... It's still back here.
Next to your candle that looks like it's going to fall off your...
I still got it. It'll be a part of my backdrop for forever. I'm not getting rid of it.
Yeah, me too.
What's his name? Sam, right?
Yeah.
Where's he been?
He always puts the thank you to Sam for doing this. He always puts the
huge shout out to Sam for putting the timestamp, man.
Yeah, the timestamp of when the show starts after the intro.
Haven't seen him live.
But yeah, he's been watching them later.
Is he out touching grass? Good for him.
I don't know, maybe.
Freak Time and Touch Hardwood, 2 new shirts. If I made a Touch Hardwood shirt, would you guys buy it? If so, maybe I would.
Dude, that would be sick.
Emphasis on wood. Because I do want to get a merch shop back up. I got some help now.
Touch Hardwood with like a picture of a cord or something. That would be cool.
That would be sick. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
You've created something.
I'm opening up the giant YouTube Google sheet that I have, that I keep all my random little ideas in. There's like 60 sheets of just the most random stuff. So yeah, let's. What were you saying?
I think we need to trademark that. You should put in a request to trademark that tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll see if Rich can help me. I don't know copyright and all that stuff. I need to educate myself. That's funny. Let's do it. And then, yeah, I'll get back out like the Blazers Uprise sweatshirts and stuff. I know we have more demand for them now than we had in the past. You know, it's just the sizing was all off and it was just a mess. So, gonna try and improve it for sure. For sure. And also, we can like link it beneath our main channel, maybe our second channel too. Like we can link the store on YouTube, and you can buy it straight off YouTube, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. This is the Blazers Uprise chat I missed in September, Eric.
Yeah. I almost went back to Garage Eric for a second.
Tory Manta sleep mask hoodie. Yeah, wear a Manta sleep mask with your Blazers Uprise hoodie. You'll be comfortable. You'll be set. And then get a girlfriend and let her steal your Blazers Uprise hoodie, and then get her a Manta sleep mask for herself. But emphasis on getting the girlfriend part. That's, pretty important there. Anyway, any other questions or weird things you guys want to say, chat? Like, here for it all? Down for it all? I want a dad hat with Corey Jez's face. That is definitely weird. That is definitely weird.
Why?
What's the next podcast? We got 2 podcasts dropping tomorrow. 503, they're finally getting their podcast out. Normally it's going to be on Tuesdays, but they had a hell of a time trying to record. They'll probably talk about it and go into it on their first episode, but that'll be tomorrow morning, and then Scorching Trails tomorrow night. Me and Steven will record it tomorrow night because the plan is to record them Thursday nights, but until Blazers Uprise Live is back to 3:30 in the afternoon, then, which is next week, then, kind of need that so I can have the Thursday night time slot to record that. You want Uprise body pillows. What do you want on the body pillow? Do you want it to look like Eric, Alex? Because I could maybe make that happen. Look like Eric, yeah. Yeah, I could maybe make that happen if you need something to cuddle, so... What is over? You and Steven live? No, we're probably not doing it live. We'll probably just do it pre-recorded and make it a little bit shorter. And then, yeah, so next Monday is the final 9:30 p.m. Pacific time start time for Blazers Uprise Live until maybe the All-Star break. Because... during the season, if you guys don't know, we switch it to 3:30 p.m. Pacific time. Man, it's going to be weird doing Blazers Uprise Live at 3:30 in the afternoon. Man, it's weird. It's here. It's freaking here. 3:30 p.m. Pacific time during the season for Blazers Uprise Live. We do picks against the spread. We pick the day's games. It's a big, fun segment. Chat, you guys also get to vote. So I know a lot of people in here probably know all this already, but if you're new... definitely don't miss out. It's a fun segment, and I'm also trying to bring a couple other things. I got a sponsor coming up in November that will do like a little segment around basically just like picking props, and then we'll integrate a couple other fun things, just trying to have fun this year, trying to enjoy it as much as possible, Eric. Mm-hmm. So just trying to enjoy life.
I can't believe we can actually talk about games next week.
I know. The energy is different. The air has changed for the better.
Mm-hmm.
So, Tory and the Cronuts.
Albie says that feels like the season barely ended. I feel
How?
like it's been like 8 years since the season.
Dude, so much has changed in the last 6 months. Yeah, so much has changed in the last 6 months for me, just with work and like. I'll talk about it when we announce our next show with that, but there will be a time where I go into like what I'm doing for work because I'm doing cool stuff. And we got something coming up. So
Borna might have already spoiled it in chat earlier.
yeah. So we will. We got some cool things coming up, so I'll talk about it, and we will. I think you guys will be excited. It's not Blazer related, but it's like me related. It's working on different stuff, different content that's like out of the realm of Blazers Uprise. So that's pretty cool. So I'm swamped basically the next week or two, but I enjoy it. This is what I want to do. So looking forward to that. We'll talk about that, and I'll go into depth on that maybe Monday. But that's going to be our preseason, or that's going to be our prediction stream. So normally that takes 2 hours. So mods should be here. Also, I'll just get their predictions through Discord, and I'll try and get predictions for maybe podcast hosts as well. I know you and Crushables did yours, so that'll be easy. But I'll try and just compile it all.
Yeah.
So that'll be a fun stream. On Monday, we'll go live like 9:30. Maybe even we can do it a little bit earlier since it will be a longer stream. And I know you got to get up for work, Eric, so... Got a lot of stuff on tap. Stay tuned. Join our Discord, by the way. We tag, whenever we drop content, we tag everyone in our Discord so you can get notifications that way. Also, you can hit the notification bell on the YouTube channel. You can also follow us on Twitter because we tweet everything out. That's how you can stay up to date with all the fun stuff we're doing, all the content we're dropping. And Discord especially is cool because you can be a part of the community. You can talk with a bunch of Blazers fans. We do game threads and stuff, so... Going to continue to try and build the community aspect and all that sort of stuff.
Yes, sir.
So, anyway, I think I've plugged everything. I think we're out of things to talk about. Alex, Chiefin will never do that, unfortunately. I think he moved away. That's how bad he ducked the 1v1. Are we on MySpace? Yeah, it's time to end the stream. Alex is tripping.
I'm technically still on MySpace. I never did.
Is that still a website?
Yeah, they can still go on it.
Weird.
I don't remember my password, but
I didn't know that was still a website.
Like a year or so ago, I checked to see if it was still on there.
That's weird. I want to go find your MySpace.
Yeah.
See young Eric with the flowing head of hair dunking on people.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a wrap for the stream. Thank you to Manta for sponsoring the stream. Remember, get yourself a Manta mask. Do not procrastinate your Christmas shopping. Literally, help out the channel. Help out yourself by getting someone you care about a gift. It's just a triple win. And shout out to them. They make good products. They're a good company. So I enjoy having them as a sponsor. And then also stay tuned for tomorrow for the podcast video content too. I dropped a video earlier today if you want to watch it on the main channel. Thank you for helping the stream get to 100 likes. We appreciate it. And with that being said, Eric, we are out of here. We will catch you live again next Monday. It's nice to not have to say, unless there's a trade. And until next time, as always, peace out. Go Blazers.